turning as I got time. All right, so that's why you need a man anyway. That's why you need men.
All right, guys. So we are here. All right, this is the anticipated interview you guys wanted to see. Everybody was like, "Don't keep us waiting long for the video." So here we go. All right. So introduce yourself. What's your name? Where you're from? All your background. Not your social security number. None of that shit. But
you sure you know my social?
No.
All right. Hi, my name is Oyi, and I'm the soft feminist, and I'm from New York, and I've been living around the world for 14 months now, so I haven't really been back in the States for a minute now.
Where all have you traveled to so far?
In my lifetime?
Yeah.
Nigeria, Costa Rica, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Thailand, Colombia, Brazil, Mexico. That's about it. Very boring. I want to be like those people in like 30 countries.
That would be dope. Unfortunately, I've only been here, but I envy that because you've been to a lot of places. Like I was telling your friend, that's actually dope, right? Because I don't really meet too many American women that come here in the first place, but to want to move here like you did and have so many countries under your belt is dope.
Mm-hmm.
How has your experience been here so far? Like, what do you like? What are your dislikes about being in Brazil?
Okay, so this is my second time in Brazil. My first time in Brazil, I was in Sao Paulo. Mm-hmm. I didn't really like it like that because it was just like New York, and I'm like, okay, I could just go back home. Like, New York is the greatest city in the world, so if you're gonna kind of replicate it, I could just go back home.
I'll say Texas, but you know.
Texas.
No state income tax in Texas. Texas. Yeah, you save more money in Texas.
Texas needs to succeed from the union. Then I went to Rio and I had an amazing time. So Brazil was always in my heart. I celebrated my birthday with strangers. You know, I was in Laba just having a time of my life. So after living in Colombia for like a year, I was like, let me go back and let me go have fun again. It was raining in Rio this time. It was raining, it was cloudy, it was raining. I'm like, okay. So then we just got up and went to Salvador instead. It's been all right, it's been sunny.
So you're here for, I know when I first met you, you said you're moving here. And what was the reason, like why Brazil?
Because of that great time I had in Rio 2 years ago, yeah. And it was closer to Colombia. Like for me, I have to go back to the States in November, so I didn't want to go anywhere too far right now from New York.
Gotcha. And so far being in Salvador, what would you say the differences are between Salvador and Rio? I know we kind of talked about this off camera, but you can again refresh it if you remember it. But I want you to be you. I want you to talk all the shit that you was talking earlier. Well, not shit, but just keeping it like you were talking earlier.
Okay, well, just general differences. I would say here is very chill. Like, it's much chiller over here. Rio is so much more lively. There's an international community because, it's Rio de Janeiro. And the spiritual significance, like having the loud presence of an African religion, that's really cool. That's really
And you see that more here in Salvador than in
anywhere
Rio.
in the world.
Yeah.
Even more than Nigeria, mind you.
Really?
Like, that's one of the most fascinating parts about being here is that like Nigeria is so like still in their colonizer mindset that like this religion, they demonize a religion that they created. So if I was to go to the Yoruba part of Nigeria, I wouldn't see, like that Dike de Toro where you have the Orishas in the river.
Yeah.
You would never see that in Nigeria. They don't celebrate their culture and their heritage and religion like that. So coming here is just like, that aspect of Salvador is really the best part, really. It's really cool.
Cool. So what do you do for work to allow you to be able to travel so much and so often?
Why you put me on blast?
This is just one of my questions that I
have. Right now, I'm an artist. So I'm an artist. I have an art club called House de Eben, which is House of Ebony in French. And it celebrates soft feminism and just a softer way of life for Black women, but not really about luxury, just about like a softer existence for Black women and what that looks like living in a patriarchal society. Pride, which is something I just started like 2 months ago officially. Prior to that, I was a program manager. Before that, I worked in education for 10 years.
Cool. So I want to talk on a little bit on your business. So I know it's called Soft Feminist. Soft Feminist or feminism?
Both.
So what would be your definition? Because there's a whole gender war going on with feminism, this and that. What is your definition of feminism? Because I know it's different levels and tiers to the whole thing.
I'm so glad he asked that question because you guys are going to meet Oyi. I am the soft feminist, okay? I am creating a new political theory. It is still considered Black feminist critique, but I would define soft feminist as the political and social understanding that Black women are women first, and they have the right to live as women in the patriarchy. They have the right to be sexual without being accused of being hoarse. They have the right of being soft without being accused of being weak. They have the right to be vulnerable without being accused of being embarrassing. You know, they can ask for help and be given help. They're not seen as strong. They're seen as women. They're not seen as strong women. Black women are superheroes and they always come to save the day, but when we need support, when we are at our lowest, nobody's there. Everybody's like, you're strong, you could deal with it. No, we can't. Like, so that's what soft feminist is about. It's like,
okay, I can get with that. I can get with that. Now you got the other side of the feminists who think we can create babies on our own. We don't need men for that. We can we want equal pay. We want all the benefits of what men can do. Why not just try to find ways to eliminate men out of the picture?
If I was like, the reason I even came up with soft feminist theory is like, I'm tired of fighting the patriarch. Like, I went to school for womenist political theory. And it's like a patriarchal society that has existed thousands and thousands of years. I don't want to be a warrior. I don't want to take down the patriarchy. And I also question what we understand as a patriarchy and what we understand as men being in charge or men being a part of our lives, men being an essential part of our lives as women, period. So that's really what my theory is about. You cannot have babies without men. You should not have babies without men. Stop doing that. Like, it is bad for our families. It is horrible for our communities. I love when people ask me, like, do you have any kids? And I'm like, no, I've never been married. Where would I get kids from? And they're just like, oh no, you could get, I'm like, no, that's the problem with your mentality. No, you should think that you could only get kids from marriage and protect yourself until you're there, because that's important for our families. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, I cannot be a single mom, so I refuse to get pregnant unless I'm married. That's one thing I can say. I cannot do shit by myself. I cannot raise. Imagine me having a son. What am I going to teach him? How to be strong? Did you see me trying to open that wine bottle?
I was like, open.
What am I going to teach him? Like, what am I going to teach him? So no, please, I beg. No single mom, no by myself. Men are vital to my existence. That's how I believe. Not only because I'm straight, but because I want to have a family in the future, and I don't, like, children hate being without their dads. Right. I've been an educator. They are so angry. They hate being without their dads. They hate that.
You need both. Yeah, you gotta have both. You gotta have both.
I refuse this whole. No, I can't.
So what would you say to the people who have an issue, like the women who have an issue with the word like being submissive in a relationship? Like, what would be your definition of being submissive? And would you consider yourself being a submissive woman? Because I know African cultures typically have that submissiveness about you guys. So, like, I know growing up in New York, for sure, like the concrete jungle, like the Big Apple. You know what I'm saying? So I know it can have that dynamic where it makes it kind of difficult. But I know that family structure, like how they were talking about the African moms, the dads, things like that, it can kind of still keep you grounded in a sense. But so how does living in New York while still having African roots and parents, I would say, keep you as a submissive woman or sway you away from it? Because, you know, being in America could sway you, possibly.
Okay, so that question is really interesting because I personally think the term submissive is a sexual term. Like, so sexually, I am a little submissive. I can see that. But if you're talking about, like, being in a relationship, I think what you're looking for is cooperative. I don't think that as a man, like, let's say, you know, life happens, you're a man. Life happens, and right now you cannot, okay, you're getting older, you're married. Your mom passes away as a man. Do you want your submissive woman to be like, oh, what do you want me to do? Or do you want her to step up and support you because you need support? So what you're looking for is cooperation. Can I be cooperative? Of course. My culture teaches me to be cooperative with men. It teaches me to understand their authority, to trust them. But we're also evolving. So our men are also learning that if we're going to school and we're having political rights, obviously we have thoughts for ourselves. So wanting a woman that is just like, yes, 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 nobody wants that. Even when men say that, you don't want that. You want someone that can cooperate with you, that respects you and cooperates with you. And that's okay. I could do that.
I agree. So let's shift gears a little bit, because we're starting to kind of get into that groove, right? So how has you been to quite a few countries, right? You seem very traveled. You got a lot of stamps in the passport book, which is cool. How would you say your experience dating has been in Brazil? And do not hold back. Tell it all like it is. How has your dating experience
try
been
not
in
to
Brazil?
swear though. Try not to curse.
Keep it PG. Let's keep it PG. But we can read between the lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot. That's a good question. Okay, the first time I was in Brazil was fine because I was in Rio. It's a lot of networking, a lot of beautiful people. You could find a companion. You could have a great time. And the only foreigners I met at that time were all white. I actually didn't meet any black foreigners. And of course they were into me. They're always into me. But, I'm not really into white men right now. So
more like Europeans. I'm going to charge my phone for a second.
No, even some of them were American. Just the foreign men that I was meeting at Rio at the time were mostly white. So that was fun. I mean, it's fun to be desired. It's fun to someone take you out and stuff like that. But for like intimate dating, it was nicer that the locals had more social mobility, economic mobility in Rio. In Salvador, it's been ghetto. I think that we'll see. I haven't really met like foreigners just yet. I've only been here like 2 weeks, and I haven't really met much foreigners. But the locals, so far, have just been weird.
Damn.
Like I met a guy. He's from
let's get your experiences.
He's from Guinea. He was like an immigrant from Guinea. I was like, okay, you're cute or whatever. That's cool. We can hang out. And then he was like, because I came to Barra and I was like, okay, I'll meet up with him. But I saw you guys. Yeah. So I kind of just started hanging out with you guys, and he came a little later.
Is that the guy that we saw? Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, let's just hang out some other time when I'm not distracted by a bunch of friends. And so the next day, I'm like, okay, you could come over to this side, like just pull up here, we'll hang out on the beach.
Right.
I wasn't even being typical, bro. I wasn't even being like, I could have been my New York self, like, no, you have to take me to dinner. You have to come pick me up at 8. No, let's just meet at the beach, bro. Let's just get to know each other. Real simple, tranquila. That man said, okay, no problem. Are you gonna send me an Uber? No.
So what you're saying is he asked you to get the Uber for him
to come see
for
me.
for him to come see you, for y'all to kick it.
Yeah.
Which is all the way wrong and backwards and twisted and fucked up. I would think.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
I'm not gonna hold you. She verified that was messed up too.
Even
for Brazilian culture.
Even my girl was just like, no.
Right. I was like, exactly. I knew it. I was like, no. So I was like, how do you usually get around town? Like, how am I responsible for your transportation? Like, how do you get around town? Yeah, you should take the bus.
The bus.
Okay, take the bus. Shit, why?
So they usually, so Brazilian guys typically pay for the Uber for the girls, or if they really want to see the chick, they'll take the unibus or the bus, or they'll take a taxi. However, they got to get to the chick that they want to see. They'll make it happen. That's not normal, but you will come across.
I think because I'm American, so
he probably assumed.
Yeah, there's a lot of like that.
But being a man, to me, being a man is universal. If you're a man, if you want to see a chick, you need to make plans, even if it's outside of your budget, within your budget. However you're gonna do it. If you want to see a chick, you got to see the chick however it's best fit. Right. So last thing I'm gonna do is ask a chick to call an Uber for me.
Even when I've been on a date with a guy, like going to meet the guy for the day, I've never asked him for transportation. He'd be nice after the date and make sure I get home safely, get me transportation, all that stuff. Of course, he should. But going to the date, I haven't even been like, okay, yes, I'll meet you at the restaurant. Can you send me Uber? I've never done that. I get in my Uber and come meet you. Like, so for a man to ask me that, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know how long I'm gonna be in Salvador now. This is odd.
Now, I have a question. How much do Ubers normally cost you guys?
What do you mean?
Like how much does it cost? Like
here in Salvador?
here in Brazil.
It depends on the place.
$1 to $4.
Yeah, if you're talking about in U.S. price, probably like 4 or 5. If you're going like an hour away, maybe like $7, $8. But
So that's cheap.
Yeah.
very cheap, very cheap. But to them, it's expensive. But at the same time, I mean, if you want to see a chick, and especially if it's a Brazilian guy trying to see an American, you already know you got to come with. You gotta at least try, like,
the attempt,
right?
He kept hitting me up like he really did want to see me. It just seemed like it was a financial thing, and it's like, okay, well then don't talk to me. Like,
you better walk.
yeah, like leave me alone.
And again, like it's not normal, but it's possible for it to happen that way. And some chicks here is just okay with that, and you can only base that off of what people show you. Right? So I can only base, like, if I walk down the street and everybody's high-fiving, right? So when you first got to Brazil 2 years ago or a year ago, and when you was walking down the beach, everybody's high-fiving, shit, the next time you come back, you're going to think, this is normal, right? Everybody's high-fiving, energy is dope as fuck, but, like, here, like, certain things happen because certain people allow it to happen.
Right.
So it's not normal, but he only asked that because somebody before, or a few times before, probably said, all right, cool, I'll call you Uber, right? Or he probably could have thought, okay, she's an American, she got a little bit more money, she could call Uber for me.
I don't know where he get that from. He was a West African immigrant, and I told him.
So he's not even really Brazilian.
No, he's a West African immigrant.
Oh.
Like, that's the thing. And I told him, I'm Nigerian. If I ever look at you dead in your eyes and tell you I am Nigerian, it means I am not spending money. I don't care about
the accent is coming out.
For real.
All right, so look, how has okay, so we'll put him in there because he's lived here for quite a bit of his life, right?
Yeah, like
right.
5-6 years, yeah.
But he's not real Brazilian, so we'll say, what has your real Brazilian man experience been like? Like, how, you don't have to give us a number or anything like that, but just saying, just dating.
Zero. Like, I've only been here 2 weeks. I haven't really, like, I go outside, I'm not really using a dating app, and I'm kind of in the phase of my life where what comes.
Right.
Yeah, and so if I go outside, I mean, they've been very nice, you know, they're like, oh, you're so beautiful, you walk around and all that stuff, but I haven't really applied myself, and I haven't really opened myself to every demographic in Brazil. I've kind of just been like, I'm still in my, where the black man at?
Yeah.
You know, I'm still there, but I feel like if I was to, because when I was in Asia, I opened up to every man, and that was different, you know, like, so I think maybe if I open back up to all the demographics, that would change, but for now, I'm just chilling.
Gotcha. So how would you compare, it's kind of iffy question now because you said you haven't really truly experienced the Brazilian, but if you would, like I asked your friend earlier, how would you compare the physical attraction aspect of it, Brazilian to American men? And would you say you would have more options here dating, or did you have more options dating in the United States?
Oh, of course, more options. I'm not traveling the world because it was hard to date men in the States. I'm traveling the world because I'm just a very adventurous person and I want to see the world. Like, dating. Sometimes I'd be tempted to go back to New York. Dating is very easy. Like, living abroad for so long, it's like, okay. Like, even sometimes if I go back to New York for like 2 weeks, I put on my Hinge, I can have like dates the whole entire time I'm there, like having a great time, like dating.
So you would say it was more difficult to date
abroad, yeah.
Than in the United States.
Yeah.
So it's easier for you guys to date there.
I'm very, I don't want to say superficial, but I mean, let's get straight to the point. I want a man that has the same passport privileges as me. I don't think I have the patience for green card applications, this application, passport, bring him here. I don't really have the space in my life for that right now. Like, so dating a man that has the same passport. I think for me, in the States, of course, he has the same passport privilege as me, but he just want to sit down in his 4 blocks. That's what the problem I kept running into. It's like he would take a vacation for 1 week once a year.
Right. Which is the normal.
Right, yeah.
And it's probably going to like Cancun or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Which is the normal.
Let's go to Tulum real quick.
Tulum, that's
I
another
want to
one.
travel the world.
Right.
I'm such a nomad, you know? So like, I want a guy that has the same passport privileges and has the same desire to be around the world.
Which, that brings up a tricky situation because you have, I think we probably touched on this earlier, but it's like you want to be able to travel with that person, to be able to have that flexibility, which could be an American. But again, like you said, they're trapped in that small bubble of just want to do some little shit, and you want to go for time, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go overseas, it's like you want to experience that and might find that, but they might just not be financially able to do so, or the sex might not be right, or because we know that's important too, or little things might hinder that from being able to happen. So why do you think that, in your experience, dating is easier, or the options might be greater in the States versus overseas?
I don't think the States, I think specifically because I'm from New York, like at the end of my experience in Medellin and after all the beautiful men I dated in Medellin, I would say, like for example, Medellin, Colombia doesn't attract men who want to invest in real estate, who want to like have tech companies, who want to do stuff meaningful with life. New York attracts that. New York attracts men who come there for business, for investments, to change their life. Like, so.
You want more?
I'll show you a little bit. So, like, dating abroad, like the past, I've only been in cities where men come to solely for like sex tourism or because dating in the US is hard. So that's why. Like, I feel like if I take myself to London, I take myself to Hong Kong, I'll be fine. I take myself to Bangkok, I'll be doing just well. Like, I feel like you go to a city where the men are coming because of they lack companionship. They're only coming for companionship, whether it's just lustful or whether it's actual love. It's harder to date because those men are just vibrating low. Like if you're struggling in the US, you're probably gonna be struggling everywhere. So it really doesn't matter. When I dated men in the US, none of the men I ever dated had intimate relationships with ever said, yeah, you know, you're the first black woman. I always have it. No, he usually always dates black women. I'm just the one he's
I can definitely agree, and we talked about this. If you're struggling dating in the United States, I would say it's a good chance you're probably going to be struggling in dating in other countries, especially Latin America, because a lot of guys go to Thailand, the Philippines, and they will just accept you as you are. Right? It's like the land of smiles and shit. So I think it's easier for you to be out of shape, not really putting your best foot forward, and they're just gonna accept you. But if you take that same man and put him in Brazil, he's probably gonna struggle, or Colombia, and other places where you have to really compete with the local men who are in shape and that look good and they're doing their things the right way, right? It might not be as easy as it would be in Thailand and Philippines.
Yeah.
So I can definitely agree on that. Now, you did say an interesting point about the sex tourism. So what is your take on that? Because I know women do it and men do it. All right. So what is your
have
take
fun?
on that?
Like live it up. Like if everything is consensual, what do I care? Women are making their money, men are having fun. Like, I really don't care. For me, the sex tourism is not like, oh no, I'm against men that do sex. I don't care what you do. My thing is that me trying to live in a city that only draws men that are coming for sex or trying to find love. That's what is happening. So it's like, it's me. It's not really them, you know? Like, it's me. So. Which
would probably be, in my opinion, probably Dominican Republic.
And Colombia.
And yeah, I hear a lot of sex tourism in Colombia. Yes. A lot of the guys are working with pros and shit like that. But definitely the DR. Definitely DR. So that's actually a really good point. So my next question is, I asked her this earlier, what would you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 in the States? And what would you rate yourself on a 1 to 10 scale here in Brazil? Is it the same? Is it different? And it could be.
I think it's the same. Like my rating, I would say goes up the further, like the less amount of African culture a society has, the higher my rating is.
Really?
So if I go to Asia, I'm off the scale. But if I stay here in the States with all the colorism and the African monkeys and all of that, I would definitely say average. Like, I know what I look like.
So
Like,
what would you say like in Brazil versus the States? Because like how we were talking earlier, the beauty standards is different. And to be fair, beauty standards in Brazil is liberal as hell. So you'll see large women walking around flaunting in bikinis as if they feel good, just like the woman that has the perfect curves. And like in the States, everybody be like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Right? Because the beauty standard is different. They have that European beauty standard.
So me personally, my body is not the question. Like my body fits anywhere in the world. I have that privilege, skin privilege. But for me, I would think more my skin tone and just being an African girl. It's the same. I actually I get the same amount of attention. I would say I think a Western culture with its African influence, I get the same. It's like, no, I don't. Yeah, it's the same to me. I would for as long as I've been in Brazil, going to Sao Paulo, Rio, Salvador, living in Colombia, it's the same. My beauty is unique. My beauty is unconventional. So being in a Western world where the beauty standard is basically white and blonde almost, it's the same. It's not changing. Because even Brazil, they're liberal, but when you see Miss Brazil, she's light skinned and skinny.
Mm-hmm.
So the Western beauty standard, it's all the same for me. When I go to Asia, where it's African, it's and then it goes up because there's this exotification that kind of comes into it, right?
So would it be fair to say in Asian countries you would be on a 9 to 10 scale?
Yeah.
It's up there because oh my God, it's African chick.
Yeah.
And then Brazil, it would be let's say in the United States
average.
It would be, so what's average
6, 7?
6, 7. In the States it would be similar.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, do I feel like in the States? Okay, so this is hard because when you're from New York, it's so much different than the rest of America.
It's definitely different in New York for sure. I would agree.
If you comparing me to the state, I don't know what it's like in Texas, or actually I do know what it's like in Texas because Houston has the largest Nigerian population. So once again, I'd be fine. Right, so I'd be fine. But in New York, no, I'm average, unconventional. I feel like I'm beautiful. Averagely beautiful, average woman, unconventionally. I'm not really light-skinned, soft features. I'm more dark-skinned, strong features, but still attractive, still walk around my world. As long as my beauty rests on my confidence. My beauty doesn't, because of the way that I look, my beauty is based on my confidence. So if I let the world beat me down with its beauty standards, I'm going to be frowning all the time.
Right.
I'm going to look worse. You know what I'm saying? It'll be walking. Or I could say, yeah, you guys think Justine Skye is ugly. You guys think Normani is ugly. So why does it matter? Obviously this scale is not judging people correctly. Because if I look at those women, I'm like, they're so beautiful. I wish I looked like that. And the rest of you go, you're all right. Okay, so obviously there's something with the beauty. I don't care what nobody says. Those women are beautiful. So for me, it's okay, I'm unconventional. I know that. And no, I'm just average. I never had a hard time dating guys. All of my men have been black and beautiful.
So you, thank you for that. The other day, which really started this whole interview, damn, we gotta get on the interview. When we was talking at the beach the other day, and you made a comment that everybody in the comments was like, she don't like Americans. What? Remember the comment? It was I can only date Caribbeans, West Africans, blah, 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 African, nah. It was but I just cannot date American men because they can't sit down and receive my service. Me cooking for them and doing all that. What made you say that? Is it what experience did you have to make you make that comment?
I think so for me, dating doesn't really, when I say dating, I don't mean sex. So when I say intimately dating, okay, but dating could just be, we're talking, we're getting to know each other, sex may or may not happen. I've never gotten far with an American guy because a lot of the guys I've dated, either they had an identity crisis and it made them too feminine. Like, if I meet you, I want you to say, I'm Black American, I'm proud. I don't want you to tell me, like, I'm looking at you, you're clearly of, like, African descent. You're like, yeah, but you're not confident in it. So it's like, oh yeah, but I'm my parents from 500 years ago used to be Jamaican, and somebody used to be Native American. Calm down. It's okay to be Black. Like, so if a man doesn't take pride in his identity, that's not masculine to me. Because in our culture, when we date because we date when we date seriously. And to date seriously means that you're looking for marriage.
In African cultures, I can agree to that.
You're looking for marriage.
That makes sense.
And when you're looking for marriage, a woman leaves her family and comes into a man's family.
Right.
If you don't know who you are, whose family am I coming into?
Right.
So growing up in the North, like, I kind of wish I grew up in the South. I feel like if I grew up in the South, I probably would have dated South US.
South US.
Yeah, I probably would have dated Black men
Texas,
more.
Florida, Alabama, Mississippi.
Yeah, I think I would have dated Black men more. Just speaking on like my experience in like Miami, just like in Florida when I lived in Atlanta, I think I would have actually dated Black men more because they don't have the same exact identity crisis that Northern Black men would have. And so
you could have found a real charmer in Monroe, Louisiana.
I think so.
I had to include you in there. I see you over there.
So,
I had to make sure it was awake.
So I feel like it's a cultural difference, and like a lot of men think that they want someone that's submissive, but if you don't know yourself, you can't lead. So
True.
If you don't know yourself, it's hard to respect you. If I'm smarter than you because I'm educated, it's hard to respect you. Like if you.
So that's a good point you made. So I don't mean to cut you off, but do you feel that if a woman's education, should that stop her from being able to submit to her man?
It depends on him. Like, what is he knowledgeable? Is he a good learner? Does he love learning? Does he care about knowledge? Does he understand knowledge is power? Okay, then I can trust him. Like, fuck school. Some people need, like me, I needed school to succeed, and some people didn't, and that's okay. But like, if I know that I'm smarter than you, and like I don't even date men that I'm smarter than. I test them, and if I feel like I'm smarter than you, like I could articulate better than you, I won't even waste my time because I won't respect you. And it's like I avoid toxic relationships, yelling back, all that stuff. I rather just be by myself. So my rule of thumb is if I'm talking to you and you don't respect yourself, it's a waste of time because I'm never gonna respect you. You say something crazy, I'm gonna be like, are you dead ass nigga? Versus, wait, what? You know, like it gets a different reaction. And me, I don't want to be crazy. I've been younger, been 22. I've dated a man that struggled with his identity and loved arguing. Even when I'm like, okay, I'm tired, I don't want to argue. No, I want to argue. Like, you're not, sir, please. So like, I see myself like yelling at him, getting crazy, and all. I was like, I don't want to be this woman. I want to be nice and classy, and I want like when you talk to me, I can listen to you. So like, my ex was my
listening
favorite.
to understand versus listening to just
trying to respond and argue with you. But men don't. It's so funny because like, a lot of men really don't know how to lead, and they don't want to accept that. And it's hard for them to understand that. You grow up without your father is barely present. You don't see your father leading, you don't see your grandfather leading, you don't see your uncle leading. You only see your mom leading. So then, I've been in situations like, sometimes I would try to talk to a Black guy, and we would like start talking. It's like, oh, what do you do for a living? And he would, with the pride, with his masculinity, I would say, oh, I'm a program manager. He's like, oh, you got money, you could take care of us, done. Don't ever say that to me.
Men have said that to you?
Yes, Black men have said that to me. Yes, he'd be like, oh, you got money, so you could take care of us. Why would you let that come out of your mouth as a man? And then you want me to, and then that same man would want respect, would want so-called submission.
Yeah.
How?
That's
Papa?
wild.
How, Papa?
That's wild. That's wild.
How?
So I'll ask you this: it doesn't really matter, or does it matter what the appearance of this guy looks like in order for you to be this submissive role to a man?
It's this mindset that makes me cooperative. It's this mindset that submits me.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm talking to you, like, I want you to tell me about what you do for the world. When I ask you what you do for a living, you need to go in. You can't be like, well, you know, I work in tech.
So it has to keep you aroused.
Yes, like you work in this. What more? Like if you ask me about my art, I tell you everything. I define soft feminist theory for you, which is a theory that I'm defining.
Right.
If I ask you about your work and you can't answer at the same level and tell me about how you enjoy giving back to society and also being able to provide for yourself, you can't.
Gotcha. So what is your ideal guy that you're attracted to, that you, not saying that you're looking for a relationship, I don't know, but what is your ideal guy that you're looking for and that you would consider yourself being in a relationship with? What does he look like?
Financially stable, because broke men are insufferable. So financially stable, let's just get it out the way. Culturally, like well cultured. He understands that there's different types of culture. Like I tend to date men that are bicultural because of that. Like it's very easy for them versus a man that's monocultured. He has to like be a very liberal person because how can you deal with me? Like if you're dating me and it's like one day I'm acting American and next day I'm acting Nigerian. Only a bicultural man who has lived with can understand that transition. So if a man, that's another reason why I don't date like black, because I've run into that issue where it's like you saw how my accent just switched.
You mean black or American?
Like American, okay. American, yeah, monoculture. Because you see how my accent just changed randomly.
Right. I heard the African come out. I was like, oh shit, she about to turn up. Let me scoot my chair over. I know about them, man. Hell yeah.
But like the guy that can do that, a guy that loves traveling and can travel, emotionally intelligent. I don't want a guy that's soft. I don't like using the word soft for men. I don't like that.
Don't really go hand in hand.
It doesn't. Even though one time I saw a black man say that. You saw that video on TikTok?
Mm-hmm. A guy said he was soft?
Okay, it was like a panel. And like I remember the TikTok, it was like a black guy and he was like, why do men always embarrass us? Watch this video. It was like a panel. And it was like men from different cultures. And a black American guy, of course, was there because he's from this culture. And the guy was like, what does masculinity mean to you? And all the other men are answering. The white boy was like, you know, responsibility, leadership, taking care of the people you're responsible, being able to lead them, you know, like being able to all this stuff. And the black man is like, masculinity is like, I see masculinity as an ability to be soft. It's like, did you just let that run out of your mouth? What are you doing?
That's different.
And then it's not different.
No, that's not good. I mean, different is in a negative way.
I've heard it so many times. Oh my god.
That's different because I typically hear when you say masculinity is more strong and strength, not leadership. Soft. Yeah. Leadership, not soft. That he can like follow or come in front of that word.
No, and then he went in for the kill, and he was like, sometimes, you know, like if my partner wants to take the lead, if my partner feels like she's strong enough a distance to take the lead, I feel like me not holding back and letting her take the lead is crushing her. No.
She gonna crush, goddammit.
What is happening? It was, I swear, I have the TikTok video, guys. I could show it to you.
That sounds all types of terrible.
I could show it to you. Wow. And like, half of the men are like, yeah, why can't men be soft and why? And I'm just like.
You have people in the comments agreeing with that comment? Wow.
I don't agree with none of that shit.
I want to show you guys the video. Like, I swear to God.
If you can share me that video,
it was scary.
If you can share me that video and I can post it on here, like maybe just like an overlay or something like that. Yeah, or just a link.
But see, that's the thing though, and it's like a panel. But the thing about it, like, you as a black man, you don't feel that way. But the problem about it is that it was a panel, and he was the representation for black male, black American male.
And was he the only black male?
Yes, he was the representation for it in that panel, and his definition of masculinity was soft. And if my partner wanted to, and I'm like, that's why I love my soft feminist politics, because I be telling black women, stop.
Soft and feminism goes together, but soft and masculinity do not go together.
That's why I have soft feminine. I'm like, stop. let him just, like, sometimes when I go out on a date, like, with a guy, I'm like, I turn off my brain. Like, I stop thinking. Like, I really act like I'm airheaded. Like, even though I know exactly where I'm going to, he may not even know the neighborhood, and I know the neighborhood more. I'll turn my brain off still.
Where are we going?
Yeah. You know, like I want to see what he can do.
Right.
Like, and if he can't, if he forces me to turn my brain back on, we're done. I don't want it, because like, how am I gonna respect you the way you want me to be submissive if I can't turn my brain off?
So I could be wrong, but it seems like you're the type of woman. It's not a right or wrong response, but it seems like you're the type of woman that is giving the guy the reins to lead.
Yes.
Like, here is the ropes. I'm gonna let you lead.
Yeah.
And even if I know the right way, I know this is the way, I'm gonna let you see if you choose one way or the other.
Because maybe the other way, I've been.
Or maybe he split the path and just take you to a whole different shortcut.
Right, that's happened.
But if you know where you're going, let's go. So that's that. I mean, okay, I get you.
Like, a lot of men want submissive women, want cooperative women. So I always test them, and that's how I know the type of man that wants it and doesn't want it. Because if I turn my brain off, and you're like, so what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to do? Oh, which way should we go?
I'll tell you the type of submissive woman that I do not like. We all seen Coming to America.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What type
You
of
want
food
a
do you like?
cooperative woman, just how Sydney says it perfectly.
What type of woman do you? What type of food do you like? The same food you like? Bark like a dog. This motherfucker started barking, bro. Like, I don't want that easy. Like, I don't want a headache, but I don't want that easy. I still want a woman that's grounded, that still has a brain, right? But she will still let me lead.
Yeah.
So I think that's just common sense to me.
I mean, it all depends on like the type of person. I've met a lot of women that hate my
That's what we talked about the other day. You were saying how women in the United States always call you a pick me.
It depends. Sometimes, especially being like culturally like Nigerian, it's definitely like, you know, sometimes we be in group chats and I'm just like, what is like, okay, so in one of these group chats, the lady showed a video and this woman, she's with her husband, black couple, and she's like, yeah, I trust him. Like, I could follow him off the bridge. Like, this is my man. Like, I could follow his lead. And if he leads us off the bridge, it's probably for a reason.
Right.
And the girl put in a group chat and she's like, you know, like, what does this mean? You know, like, is this what we really want? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why are you in there?
Trying to confuse the shit.
Yeah, and she was like, oh, like, is this how communication is supposed to go? And I'm like, but that's not what the question is about, though. Like, as women, we go through a lot. And being responsible for reproduction takes a lot of us, even just our periods. You see how that's a lot for us. So, like, my question to her is that, okay, this is your husband. When you're pregnant and in labor and you can't do anything, what you want to do, argue about who's right and who's wrong, or do you want to trust him and follow him?
Right.
When you're in pain, when something bad happens to you, when life is lifing, and you literally do not have the ability to communicate or make decisions, do you not, like, what happens to you? What happens to your marriage? What happens to your partnership? Do you just wait until you have that ability before you guys make a decision? Like, why is it so hard to just follow him? And I was telling her, like, and she was like, yeah, but what if you follow the guy and it leads you to disaster? Test them. When you're dating him, turn your brain off. When you're dating him, ask him for money. When you're dating him, ask him about important stuff. Trick him, make him think you're pregnant and see how he reacts. Test them before you marry them. So it's easy to follow them. Like, I feel like so many people keep forgetting that, like, marriage is an economic institution. You can fall in love as much as you want to. You can be as lustful as you want to. You can't change the fact that marriage is an economic institution. None of us are changing that anytime soon. Like, what the difference in this modern
I personally
time,
think that's based on where you live.
you know, marriage is an economic institution. The children that you need to create in the marriages are not going to eat love. They're going to eat fruits. They need shelter.
Right.
They
but
need resources.
I think, and in this part, I disagree. I've agreed on a lot of things, but this part I disagree because I think that's just a Western cultural condition to think that
marriage is an economic institution.
Yes, because a lot of things you'll think when you see marriages, it's all. I mean, we know women file for most divorces, and when you look at a lot of the reasons why most people get a marriage, it's all contractional, right? It's all contract, right? And it's all monetary value in it.
It's an economic institution,
right? And I think that's only based in maybe Canada, definitely United States. Once you leave outside of those places, I could be wrong, but I think that a lot of those are A lot of it is based on love. That's why you see a lot of long-term marriages in other countries. It's not, and you look at it, and you look at a lot of these people's income, right? You look at a lot of these people's income, and you're like, they ain't making $60,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $20,000 a year. They're making very low base income, but yet they stand together for 20, 30, 40 plus years. When was the last time you heard, hang on, let me rock. When was the last time you heard of somebody that you knew of, whether it be family, friends, close friends, whatever, that was married for 20, 30, 40 plus years?
I'm African, so you know a lot.
In Africa, yeah, of course. In the United States.
In the United States, well, see, that's the thing. Whenever you ask me United States, it's hard for people there's a lot of immigrants in the United States.
True.
And if we're bicultural, we're living two identities. So for me, my New York has always been around Nigerians.
In that community there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If it's not community, if it's not Nigerians, it's West African. So
And the age for those people that, assuming they're still married.
They're older, of course.
Yeah, which would be older.
Mm-hmm.
But the people around, I'm 32, you're in your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So in that age group, what would you say the typical lifespan for a marriage, or even if they are married?
They're young, bro. Like,
so they ain't even fucking with marriage.
Not that they're not fucking with marriage. They probably only been married 2 years. So like,
Right.
They're mad young. How old do you think you were? You said 32. You think 32 is 52?
But you have people. No, but that's the thing though, because you have Brazilians here. They start early. I mean, they'll have kids at 15.
But in the States, that's not our culture, though.
Right.
We have
right.
After the embarrassing 16 and pregnant, obviously they're trying to.
I would say the only people I've seen in the United States that engulfs in that sector would be the Mexican community, and I've seen people in high school 16 years old with engagement rings or pregnant, things like that. So that again, the Mexican culture is a different thing. So we know that, but.
I think that marriage is an economic institution everywhere in the world. Tell me a culture that is for instance in Africa, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Marriage being an economic institution is not about richness. It's not about richness.
Right.
So you're talking about a family that they've been living, because the husband and wife probably understand their finances and know how to cooperate with their finances.
Right.
It's still an economic institution. Do you know how many divorces have come because of economic problems? Because people get so much in love, they forget. It doesn't matter how much in love you are, you still need to feed. It doesn't matter how much in love you are. It doesn't matter how much you love them kids. You still need to feed them. You still need to give them a reasonable life. And if you don't give them a reasonable life, it's not that you're a failure, but then your child has to go out their way to become a laborer and fend for themselves. Marriage is an economic institution that in the modern times, we use love to get into that institution.
But I agree, there is a financial benefit to being in a marriage.
No. It is an institution. It's not about financial benefit.
It's important.
It's about an economic institution. It's not about benefit.
But it's the financial importance of it. You're talking about the financial importance of a relationship.
I'm not even talking about. It's not the financial importance of a relationship. Marriage is an economic institution, no matter how much
for
you are
who?
in love.
The man.
For everybody.
But for the man.
It's not for the man.
If a woman, okay, we go. Let's just use the African culture, right? When African women leave their tribe to go to the man's tribe, that family is 9 times out of 10 not really wanting to let this child go to this family unless this man and this family is secure.
Of course.
Which not necessarily has to mean financial, but they know that if my daughter is going to take hand in marriage with this tribe, I know that she needs to be taken care of. In return, that means I need to know that my daughter is going to be financially secure with this man. So it's only for the man to be what you're saying.
No.
For who else?
What do you mean who else? Do you not need children?
Yes, but you can bring children into this world. But let's say you have a man, right? And I'm married to this woman, and I create kids with her. And if I'm not financially stable, who's gonna suffer the most? Who's gonna suffer the most?
So how are you gonna say it's a financial institution for both?
It's really all depending on the man. Who else is it depending on?
What do you mean by all depending on the man? all the finances are depending on his ability to bring it
Yes.
into the household.
Not
Not necessarily maintain it, because we all know women are a beast at maintaining money. Taking the
No.
money from the man and maintaining it.
No, look at the statistics of the Black Friday sales, all across the board, the retail sales. They are leading numbers by female consumers. This is a fact.
Yeah, and the female consumers are
Women do not manage money better than men.
That is with all the single motherhood that is happening, for you to really just dismiss women like that, like single mothers.
No, I'm not dismissing. I'm just saying.
We have other things. Nobody's trying to sell you a wig, bro. Nobody's trying to sell you, you're ugly, buy a wig, buy this. That's why we're consumers. Our consumerism, this is not, marriage being an economic institution has not much to do with our personal consumerism as women. That's very different. Because when women have a family to take care of, when women have kids to feed, they're on that. Unless she's a bad mother. I mean, bad mothers exist. What do you want me to do? But
True.
when a woman is setting up her family, it is all about your ability. Like, when I'm thinking about a man, I'm thinking about, can he provide for me when I cannot do much because I'm producing children for him?
Right.
And can he feed those children after?
Right.
That, like, so women manage money when like their families are being built. Women manage money. The man brings the money in, women manage it. Most of the time, women are the ones managing the money in the marriages, making sure that the fees are being properly distributed, because men sometimes lack the emotional intelligence. They bring the money in, but they don't necessarily know, like,
emotional intelligence has nothing to do with financial.
Yes, it does. You have to know how to spend your money, and the emotional intelligence.
But women are more emotional spenders than men.
What does that have to do with marriage being an economic institution? And
I disagree with that comment. We already established I disagree with that comment.
And we don't have to agree to disagree, because
we can disagree. So we can agree to disagree. That's just fair. Like, we are two different people. Like, I fuck with you. You're my friend. But we can disagree to agree. We can agree to disagree. It is what it is. But
if you were to ask me, let me tell you something. I used to be like hot feminist in the ass, like, fuck these men. We don't need men. But I think that this is something about me getting older and knowing what I want, and also being realistic about what I want. I want to be in love and have a family, but at a certain age, I realized, like, being in school and taking classes, this is an economic institution. It's been like that forever. So I can say, yeah, I want to date any type of guy or whatever, but my mom is an Igbo woman. She don't play. I say, oh, I'm dating a guy. What does he do? She don't ask his name. She don't give a fuck where she's from. She don't give a fuck about any of that. What does he do?
Give the example you gave me the other day about your mom. If you want to.
I don't remember.
You probably don't remember. It was about the guy that you were dating at the time, and he did X work, and she was like, okay with you doing this, but then this guy didn't do this. Yeah, that situation. Explain that, because that was actually very true, because I dated a African girl. I told you I dated an African girl at the time, and her mom was like very like on top of shit, and she wasn't fucking around unless you made a certain amount. Like,
yeah. My first boyfriend, he was a very humble man. He was an environmental studies major or whatever. He was a nice guy. He was very into agriculture and living off the grid and all that shit. She hated that shit. She fucking hated that shit. She hated me. So, oh my God, my mother was so mad. I was like, because I was hanging out, I'm like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'm dating this guy. He wants to come because he was white, kind of. Mm-hmm. And like, white people are like, let's meet each other's families. And I'm like, no, I'm Nigerian. You're my boyfriend. You can't meet my family. If you want to marry me, you can meet my family. But if you're my boyfriend, stay there. He's like, But in white people culture, you're being weird. You're acting. They meet each other's families.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
so here's a white engineer.
No, he's environmental studies major.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was telling my mom, yeah, he's coming over, and she's like, okay, what does he do? And I was like, he went to school for environmental studies. Her face immediately just went, oh, what have I told you? How are they gonna take care of you? What is your problem? I'm just like, but I love him. She was not having it. So of course, after a while, we broke up, and then I moved on, and like my last.
So did y'all break up because of the opinion of your mom?
No.
Because why did y'all break up? I mean, because I don't know the dynamic of how much they make, but
the relationship was already toxic, and he was not financially stable. And for him, he was more like this political liberal guy. He's like, I want to live off the grid. I want to live off the grid. And after a while, for me, like graduating college, it's like, oh, I don't want to live off the grid. I want to live a comfortable life. My mother might be right.
So he was more like the van life type.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that shit with him. Okay, I'm like, I love nature, but I didn't want to do all that. So I was like, you know what, this isn't, like, we have two different understanding of like life. So that's kind of where that went. But the financial aspect was still, there was a lot of American Nigerian cultural differences, and I'm like, my mother might be right. So I dated this other guy, like my last, he was an engineer, and it was like, I was like, oh, what does he do for a living? He's an engineer. Nice. Now you are better. Now you're doing better. Now she was nice. And now she was giving me advice. I remember one time I had an attitude because he took forever to come get me and I was hungry. And she was like, still, you have to be soft. You can't just be irritated with him. I was like, you're only saying this because I told you he was an engineer. Like
what color was he?
Trinidadian. She don't give a fuck about them race. She don't give a fuck about what the nigga make. Right. I mean, she kind of does after, like, she would prefer that he's Nigerian, prefer that he's Igbo, and like, even we're very tribal in Nigeria, she would prefer that he's Igbo and stuff like that. But definitely income is way more important. So as soon as I told her, you know, he works for Microsoft, he's a great guy, he was an excellent guy. She was like, yeah, be softer, you can't be angry. Every time somebody does something to you, you get a little too angry. I was like, she was telling me I have to be soft. I have to be submissive to this man because he's an engineer. My mother was not playing.
So what happened with that?
We just weren't compatible for marriage in the long run.
And who decided that?
Williams.
I
decided 3 months into that relationship, I was like, damn, you're such a great guy, but like, if we were to get married, we get divorced in 5 years, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, I don't want that short-lived type of situation. So it's like,
what if it could have just been like a little speed bump, you know, or a little mountaintop could have just crossed over?
I realized that in 3 months, and we still dated for a year. And it changed. We were together for a whole year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I knew that in 3 months, and I was like, okay, but I miss him though, man.
All right, so I got one more question. Well, not really a question. One more statement. And if you have anything else to say after this, you can. But there's a comment on one of my videos, the one we just posted, and you were saying, I got that wop, I got that fire, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And
I saw somebody comment.
Yeah, and the
that
guy
man got me tight.
And that guy was like, how are you the person to decide?
He was like, this is my video for you. Oh God, do I look like a hoe to you? Like, because the only way you can verify is if the nigga I'm fucking tells you. That's disrespectful on his part. I would never date a disrespectful ass nigga, and I'm not a prostitute. So the only person you can get that from is me. So you're gonna have to take my word for it. And if you can't take, don't worry about it. Do I even know you? Did you enter my DMs? How much money do you make a year? Are you an engineer?
Engineer,
before you're over here worried about, I saw the comments.
The African accent is coming out. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can hear it. It's strong.
Because I'm ready for you people. The first one, the one said I'm a 3.2. That nigga tried it.
Actually reading the comments.
Of course I did. That nigga said I'm a 3.2. You tried it because you don't even have a profile picture and you probably don't even have a toenail on your pinky toe. Boy, bye. So like, get out of here. And then the other one said, or how can you tell? Because first of all, Cardi B said the thing was whack. Not Offset. If Offset said it, it would have been disrespectful. Like, why are you talking about your wife like that? But she's the one that can say it. So it's like, the only person that can verify it for a woman that respects herself is me. That's the only person you can get that from. Who do you want my ex to call you and be like, yeah, she's right, nigga, you should DM her. Like, what the fuck? I saw that shit. Y'all tried it.
Yeah, the comments gonna keep coming in because it's a fairly new video. They're gonna load up. But I did see that comment. I wanted to bring it up, which I didn't even know you saw that.
I saw.
Damn. Okay.
I saw, like, I think because I looked at your channel because you said, well, you're streaming. So I looked at it. I was like, oh shit, he's already uploading this video. I couldn't even watch it. Honestly, I cringe at myself. I'm probably gonna cringe watching it.
No, we're vibing.
But like, no, that was really funny. It was a lot of the WAP one was the hilarious one, because that man really said, "Nah, only a man." What man is gonna tell you that, sir? Be realistic. Come on, like, I could tell you, and what I said was true. And if you want to figure it out, tell me your job first. How much money do you make? Can you afford my bride price? If you can afford my bride price, then I'll let you. We'll see. We'll talk about it. But if you cannot afford it, don't be worried about it. If you hear me say my pussy is good, say, okay, I can afford this woman. Now let me go challenge her. But if you cannot afford the woman, why are you even wasting your time? And then the other one with the 3.2, you don't even have a pinky toe. You don't have a nail in your pinky toe. Like, get out of here. So it was pretty funny. It was all jokes for me. I kind of really
it's the comment section is always going to be full of comedy and interesting comments. You can make a whole video just about one single comment.
It's the internet.
But the WAP one, he had me weak, because I'm like, sir, how else are you gonna know that? That shit had me weak though. That was the funniest of all the comments. Like, all the comments were like whatever. But that one in particular, that was funny. He was like, how can you say? Oh, the other one said no cleaning. That's a red flag.
Yeah, you did say that in the video.
How are you gonna say you love a woman, but you want her to go inside scrubbing the toilets after you poo poo? You don't love that woman. You don't love her.
All right, anything else you want to rock with before we get up out of here? We're about to wrap it up. We got some long videos, bro. We got some long videos posted for y'all. All right, this is the interview I want to see. So, any other questions?
Oh, that guy was like,
any other points you want to drop out?
I don't diss Black American guys. Like, let's say if I dated a Black American guy that was like, let's say I met a Black American guy that was like great and okay with being a leader, I'm sure we would have a great time. Like, I'm Nigerian American and my American is Black American. It's not like I'm Nigerian American and my American is white American. I'm bicultural. I'm Nigerian and Black American, right? So, I don't want Black men to feel like I'm dissing them, because I actually really have a soft spot for Black men. Like, yeah, I go through a lot in the United States, so I'm very sympathetic to like all of your existence, starting from the time that you're born to the time you're adult men. Like, I'm sympathetic to all of that, but I'm not sympathetic into putting myself in a bullshit situation just because I feel bad for a guy's racial issues. You know what I'm saying? I still need to be taken care of as a woman. Still, like, we need to be mutual. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
That's it?
I don't want the Black people think I don't like them.
That's it, man. All right, so here you heard it first. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. I'm going to drop her Instagram in here again. So I know some of y'all on the community post talking about this. All right, so I'm going to drop her IG so y'all can slide in her DMs. Whatever y'all do.
Maybe you'll get a shot. You never know.
Maybe you might get a shot. A shot at love. Oh. This might be a part of the channel where we do a shot at love in Brazil.
Yeah, you might have to.
Imagine.
That'd be lit. All right,
cool.
Anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. We might post some more content. I know we might do a little round table sit and discussion with the Brazilians and the Americans, and Floyd right here gonna be in the mix too. All right, so we'll see you guys on the next video.
Oh, one
all right.
more thing before you end the video.
Hold on, wait. Floyd got something to say.
Let me tell you, you might not have an opportunity because I might just take her from you guys. So you never know.
You never know. Floyd might take her off y'all's hands.
You never know, man. I'll
So you
make
might.
an exception. I can just get them made Monday and Friday. I can
You
make an
see,
exception.
this is a man that cares about a woman's life. That's why. You're not going to talk about, oh, I love a woman, but do you want to scrub my toilet? No, you obviously don't fuck with me. Like, whenever men say cleaning, I just feel like he really don't care about a woman. Like, you really don't care about her. Like, you go take a big ass poop and you want me to walk in there and scrub it?
I don't think that's what men mean when they say cleaning.
That's what I think when they say that nonsense.
I wouldn't want to
No.
clean yours up either.
If I take a shit and it is,
higher, man.
we're not gonna get into all that. I'm not gonna visually paint shit for nobody.
I don't want to
Like,
clean the shower scum.
but I know I use the bathroom and I make a slight little mess. I'm gonna clean it up. I'm not gonna ask my girl to go to the fucking bath because I know for a fact she ain't gonna do it.
So what cleaning do you want us to do? Dishes? That's what it is? Just say dishes then.
I
say
don't
cleaning.
give a shit about little things. Like I told you the other day. I don't care what if a woman cooks, cleans, all that shit. Because I know I've been single for 7 years. I can do that shit myself, right? If I'm in a relationship or not, I know I have to eat every day, and my house is not gonna be a fucking mess, right? So Remember we was talking about, well, if he cooks, he cleans, all that shit. I can't do nothing for him.
Okay,
But I
was
need the
being
little
dramatic.
thing. Right,
I
we
was
know
being
you was
dramatic.
being facetious.
I was.
But I need what I need is for to do the little things,
You need
like
a companion. You
right,
want
and just to do the little shit,
support.
like your dinner's appointment is scheduled.
Yeah.
Little shit like, okay, I'm cool. My girl, like, your dinner's appointment is scheduled. This, little shit like that I just might not even remember because that's little bitty tedious things to me because I have other big shit to be worried about.
I agree. Like I was telling her the other time, I was like, men who make a certain amount of income still don't want super broke sitting at home all the time. I agree to that.
Facts.
Nobody wants that. I don't want a
Facts.
broke nigga. And I feel like even though men will date like women that make less than them, they still want you to like at least have a job, have an ambition, be able to take care of yourself.
Just
And
doing
I understand.
something.
Yeah, and
just
I get
making my
that.
life easier.
That's why I say y'all niggas don't want a submissive woman. You want a cooperative woman. You want an intelligent woman that is still going to respect you no matter how many accolades she has. Say that. Be clear. You don't want a submissive woman. You want a woman that is very intelligent and chooses to respect you and follow you.
We need another bottle of wine.
That wine went through.
Quick,
Oh,
this
you
shit.
the soft feminist.
Gold. Ain't gold. This shit fire. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you made it to this part of the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit.
And follow me and support my business and buy my art.
Yeah, buy her soft feminist t-shirt.
Yeah.
I want to see everybody in the comments buying her t-shirt. I already know these niggas is not gonna buy your t-shirt, but I have to say it. I have to say
You
it
should buy my
anyway.
t-shirts
We might have
because
actually.
my feminism
You'd be
wants
surprised.
women to be.
That's what I was about to say.
Right.
Actually,
You'd be surprised.
listen. Actually,
my
there's
feminism
women
is not
who watch my
anti-men.
channel. Right? No, it's not
Right.
anti-men.
Right, you heard my soft feminist
It's
theory,
women
I
who watch.
defined it.
There's women who watch it. Brazilian women, Brazilian men who watch it. There's American men who support that movement. All different types of shit. So you never know who could buy it for somebody that they might like. You feel me? So
but my thing is that my
yeah.
soft feminist theory is there for men. I'm over here trying to get women to be softer for y'all.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? You should buy the shirt.
You should buy the shirt. That's what I said. Buy the shirt. Or if you don't want to support her business for whatever reason, right? You might have mixed.
Why? Because I
clouds
told
of
you I
judgment.
don't clean.
Niggas will find any reason to not support some shit. But again, if you want to support her business, I'm gonna have her Instagram, all her shit in the bio. All right. So we'll see you guys in the next video.